Doggies! I'm excited about the Dogs this year. I don't know if you are, but I feel like they've made a few good signings over the off-season. They're getting better each year. What are your thoughts?
2022 was a step up. 2023 is about to be another step up. Kickow, Mahoney coming in, two top-tier talents from top-tier teams. You know, Penrith and Parramatta, you're poaching 2 grand finalists. Mm-hmm. I'm excited for them. How do you feel about this roster going into 2023?
Mate, this roster's stacked with a lot of talent at this point in time. Just locked down Matt Burton for another 5 years as well, so that definitely goes a long way to, you know, keeping that club success moving forward as well. And he was such an important part of their resurgence towards the end of last year as well. And Josh Addo-Carr stepped up in a big way. I wouldn't be surprised if they give him the team captaincy this year, just because he's that kind of player where you just want to follow him. He's got so much confidence in himself, and shame on you, Brad Fittler, for not picking him in the New South Wales team, because he thoroughly deserved it and showed that as well at the World Cup when he went over there as well. So Mal Meninga didn't make a mistake.
Should have been one of the first picked. Absolutely. And there were questions about him coming out of the Storm. You know, he's a winger in the Melbourne system. Is he just a product of that system, or is he actually a superstar? He showed beyond doubt that he's a superstar. The other thing I'm going to say is I think Matt Burton is set for a massive season. So last year there was a bit of frustration. There were times where he was trying everything and just couldn't quite get it over the line. You add Reed, you add Kickow, you had another year with that team sort of gelling together. I think for any Supercoach tragics out there, Dylan Brown, 2021 versus 2022, the leap. He went up 20-plus points in Supercoach. It all just sort of came together for him. I think we're going to see the same thing from Burton, and I think you should be drafting him very high.
Matt Burton, I think, could be winning the Dally M this year. If everything goes right for the Dogs, we could see a Nico Hines effect. You know, if Matt Burton can really take that team by the scruff of the neck and direct them around the park, it doesn't really matter to me too much who their 6 is going to be or 7 is going to be alongside him. I think with fullback is probably the interesting spot that you could potentially debate over, but with Reed Mahoney, they're getting a quality number 9 in there with some quality service, and that's all Matt Burton's going to need. Bit of space, bit of demand for the ball, and Reed's, you know, they're going to have to work on that partnership a lot.
Well, let's go to fullback. Kiraz.
Yeah.
Kiraz. Like, I don't think it's a conversation. Averillo's not a bad player, but Kiraz has top-tier talent. He came in to his first game last year. He made like 25 runs in like 60 minutes. Yeah, like 10 offloads. Like he was cramping up in the 60th minute because he was just going so hard. And I haven't seen a player attack a game of footy the way Kiraz did in that game, like anyone. And he hasn't taken the foot off the pedal. You know, he turned up for Lebanon in that fullback spot as well. They nearly beat New Zealand in their game. Yeah. He's just the guy at fullback. Like, I don't think you could not pick him there. Is there anyone else that you'd consider?
Well, it's between him and Averillo, isn't it? Averillo was there towards the end of last season, so I'm interested to see as to whether they would go with the incumbent or not. But for me, Kiraz has to be there. He just has that, you know, that never say die attitude, like you said. You know, he came in as a rookie and just blew players aside as a 20-year-old, and I can't believe that they, you know, we're not even talking about him playing fullback at the moment. I haven't really heard much about whether he's going to be set to be playing fullback. You just need that explosive player to be in your fullback position, and I don't think Averillo offers it in the way that Kiraz does. Averillo's got a lot of speed. Kiraz has got the big body, can break tackles, and showed that he can finish off plays. You know, we saw that Moses flick pass try that they scored at the World Cup with Lebanon. So you put good players around Kiraz at the fullback spot, and he can produce.
Yeah, no, I rate him really highly. I think he's one of the best young players in the game right now. Let's go to losses for the off-season. So Josh Jackson, Jeremy Marshall-King, Paul Vaughan. Marshall-King gets replaced by Mahoney, but Jackson and Vaughan, 2 very solid players back into their careers, but 2 guys who played for the Blues. You know, 2 guys who made their tackles, made their hit-ups every week. Probably need Luke Thompson to step up and go back to what he was doing in 2021. And they probably need, Max King was already doing everything he could do, but a couple of these other younger middle forwards. TPJ, God, I drafted him in way too many leagues. Last year, he was such a flop. But no, look, he had some good games. They need him to be that guy. Yeah.
Yeah, look, I think the forward pack is a little skinnier than it was last year. In saying that, though, they bring in Kickow, and Kickow's got that championship pedigree that you're looking for in a lot of players, proven winner. Goes hard. A lot of the time, there's a bit of an underrated skill about Kickow is he chases down charge downs. I feel like I see him get a lot of charge downs, and that's just pure effort. We've seen him stop tries at the end of games. Everyone remembers the Storm try that he stopped out at Penrith when he made a tackle across the other side of the field, then ran across the other side of the field to get there to stop the try. He's actually a bit more of an effort player than you think. Sometimes he can, get himself in a bit of a hole where, if everything's not going his way, he'll tend to back off a little bit, and it's very easy to play on the front foot, with Penrith. So I'm interested to see how he backs that up this year. He's signed on a pretty big contract, so they're going to be expecting a lot of things out of him. But I think if you go with him on one side and Raymond Faitala-Mariner on the other side, if he can be fit, then they're looking pretty lethal on the edges.
Yeah, Faitala-Mariner is so underrated. Look, Kickow carried that edge for Penrith as well. I think he was probably the most important member of that edge. And there were times where, him, Luai, Tungo, Taylor May were all combining, and Taylor May was scoring the hat-trick, and Tungo was, the rookie on the scene, and Luai is loud. But Kickow was the guy on that edge. I think he was the most important part. I think Penrith will struggle on that edge, and I think the Bulldogs and Burton in particular, and potentially that's an argument to keep Karaz on the edge as well. So you can have that sort of three big men running at people.
Definitely.
But they're going to benefit. Everyone around Kickout benefits every time he plays the game. And I think he'll be really good. In terms of the key question, what have you got that one as?
I think for me, who's their number 7 going to be? It had to be sorted out last year. They had a really big opportunity to lock down one person or try and bring in another player. They dropped out of the Mitchell Moses race, I've heard as well. And I think with Flanagan was okay last year. Can we say he was okay? Averillo's had a go at that spot before. They dropped Brandon Wakeham, so he's not part of the team anymore. I just don't really see a dominant number 7 and I think what's going to hurt them this year is kicking game. We know Burton's got a massive left boot, but is he going to be taking up all the kicking and playmaking duties? You need someone to alleviate that pressure, otherwise it just doesn't work. And I think we saw that at the start of last year, and when they got things going, it tended to work a little bit better. But yeah, for me, they just don't have a proper recognised halfback that can game manage while Burton's doing his thing.
No, genuine 7, I totally agree. Like Jackson Hastings was on the market. He would have been a great pickup. I always thought that last year they should have gone and asked Canberra for Sam Williams. He would have been 100K, would have been dead cheap, great kicking game, older, bit of a game manager. They don't need a superstar at 7. They just need a guy to take that responsibility so that Burton can be a 6, because he is a 6. Yeah. He's not a 7. Like, he's trying to play 7 for the team, but he's a 6, and he's one of the best 6s in the game. Just get a guy who can fill that role. And I was hoping Flanagan could. I can't say that he did. He did in patches, but he didn't fully sort of take that leap. I now think, though, that they're in a position where they don't have the cap anymore to go and spend on a big 7. Mitch Moses is totally out of their budget. Maybe like a Fogarty.
They were looking at Munster for a bit as well.
He's not a 6.
I know. And they signed Josh Reynolds on a train and trial.
He's a 6 too.
Yeah, they just keep signing these 6s or
Averillo's a 6.
I mean, you're right. I think they are potentially out of the market now for a 7. Not many good 7s running around as well that aren't locked up for a long period of time as well. So it's going to be tough. They're going to have to either develop one or go find one. I think the other one that you could have made a case for was Isaiah Katoa. Who ended up getting signed with the Dolphins. Yeah. But yeah, like you said, he's pretty young. But if you got Burton there for the next 5 years, you got Kick out there for a long period of time, you got Mahoney signed up for a long period of time, he has a chance to work with those players and develop. Yep. So he might be young, but I rate him pretty highly.
No, that could have worked. So top 8. Are they a top 8 team? Because it's not a case of, they're not a bottom 4 side. No one has them in the bottom 4. No one really has them in the top 4. It's between 5th and sort of 12th kind of thing. Do you have them in that top section.
Oh, mate, certainly. Oh, I've got them making the top 8. They're going to get into that 8th spot.
Confidently?
No, they are getting into that 8th spot.
Is it the final week of the year, or are they owning it?
Oh, they're going to be owning it. I actually think that Josh addo-carr is going to be the leading try scorer this year as well. Just with the developments made from Burton last year, they got rid of Trent Barrett. I think that was a shambles from the start. I said that they should not have signed Trent Barrett. But with what they've got going on at the moment, bit of explosive players as well, and then you look at the consistency that Mahoney brings as well. The trouble with this side for the last couple of years has been consistency on a week-to-week basis. So it's trouble for a lot of teams, but I think they click this year. They've been out of the finals for too long now, and the Doggies fans need a solid thing to root for. So they're making my top 8, Doggies fans.
I respect the passion, but they're not in my 8. Jeremy Marshall-King was underrated. Reed Mahoney is a bit overrated going in. I don't think he's the upgrade that everyone's saying he is over Jeremy Marshall-King.
Said the man who cried when Reed Mahoney got kicked out of Para, and then they signed Josh Hodgson.
Yeah. No, I just don't have them there. I mean, I've got a few other teams taking that spot. I think there's a top 7 in the comp right now that is really strong. And then there's a few teams pushing for that spot. The Dogs are one of those teams. I think they'll be in and around the 8 towards the end, and I think another team will steal that spot. And you have to watch the other previews to find out who that team is. We'll see you there.